Investing in multifamily syndications can be an amazing investment vehicle, right? You can build wealth, you can build your cash flow streams, you have tax benefits. There are a lot of advantages, but there's also circumstances when it does not make sense to invest in them, right? So what I thought I would do in this video is share 4 different reasons why you should not invest into a multifamily syndication. So check these out as it may be helpful for you. What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and I'm a multifamily investor here out of Boston, Massachusetts. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes, super quickly, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I put out tons of new videos every single week. I talk about multifamily, syndication tips, strategies, construction, and everything in between. So that's the kind of content you're looking for. Make sure you subscribe. So with that, let's get right into it. So as I said, we're going to talk about 4 different reasons why maybe investing into a multifamily syndication may not be the right move for you. And let's get into it with number 1, and it is the illiquidity of the investment, right? So what you need to understand is when you invest into a multifamily syndication, it is a relatively illiquid investment. Most syndication timelines are anywhere from 3 to 7 years, and you should not expect to get your capital back, right? Unless there is some sort of cash out refinance prior to a sale. But even still, cash out refinances don't typically happen for at least 24 to 36 months into the operation. So if you feel like you might be a little tight for cash over the next 12 to 36 months, or you're not exactly sure where your cash situation is, right? Then maybe investing into a syndication is not the right move, right? Because it's very, very hard to get that money back, right? It actually disrupts a lot of operations for the syndicator and operator when someone even requests it, right? So make sure you have the proper liquidity. That's why I always tell people, do not invest like emergency funds or anything like that into a syndication. This should really be excess capital that you have that is pure investment capital that you don't need to see for a good chunk of years. Number 2 reason why you maybe shouldn't invest into a syndication, it kind of goes with point number 1, is the higher minimums, right? And in syndications, it really depends on the deal and the operator, but there are some syndications that have minimums as low as $25,000 and some that are as high as $100,000, $150,000, or even $200,000, right? So obviously, if you don't have the funds to reach the minimum, then you're not going to be able to invest. And even though syndication is a great tool, right, where you don't necessarily need to save 25% down to buy an investment property, right? A lot of times it's a lot less than that, and it helps you kind of diversify your wealth. There are still situations, right, where you might not be hitting that minimum, or like point number 1, right? You could make that investment, but then it starts to stretch you out thin, and it may not be the best move, right? So really be sensitive about those investment minimums and make sure it aligns with your cash liquidity position as well. Number 3, this is actually a really important one. Don't invest into a syndication if you can't give up operational control, right? Because what happens when you invest into a multifamily syndication is you're going to be a limited partner, right? You're not going to be the main person calling the shots, operating the deal, making decisions on the ground with the assets, etc., right? You're really putting that into the hands of the syndicator / operator or the general partner, right? So if you're someone that needs to control the shots or wants to be involved kind of in the day-to-day ops, that might not necessarily be the best move then, right? Because as a limited partner, kind of like the word describes it, your role is going to be very limited. You're just going to be providing the equity capital, but beyond that, it's really going to be up to the operator to really, operate the deal, make all decisions, etc. So that's why it's also really important to have trust in the operator, right? Because you want to make sure that operator knows what they're doing, because they're going to be calling all the shots on the ground. And finally, number 4 situation where you should invest into a syndication is when the business plan or the financials of that particular project don't align with your own personal financial goals. And here's what I mean with that, right? Even in the realm of multifamily, there is a large spectrum of the different types of business strategies and financials associated with transactions, right? So you can find some syndications that are maybe more cash flow oriented, right? And are buying buildings that are going to be producing higher monthly yield. Whereas maybe there's other projects that are more equity focused, right? Maybe they're heavy value add or even ground up construction, right? And those are really prioritizing the equity component of the project, really building up a lot of equity in the project and then really capitalizing that at refinance or sell, right? So if your personal goals don't align with the projects, you should invest, right? So if I'm someone that's looking for consistent monthly cash flow and that's really my number one goal, then I probably shouldn't go into maybe something like a deep value add or a ground up construction, because that might not necessarily be the main target of that project. And vice versa, right? If I'm someone that has a 10, 15-year timeline and I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't need those extra cash flows today, or I don't need a ton of those extra cash flows today. I really want to prioritize the equity and the wealth portion of it. Then investing into a super high producing yield asset may not necessarily be the best play, right? Maybe you do go for that ground up or heavy value add in maybe like a Class A market or something, right? So you really want to make sure that you take your financial goals and really align them with the business proposition and the asset class and the location of that potential investment, right? This is really, really critical because you want to get really good alignment between these two things. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Hopefully that gives you a couple of scenarios of when you should not invest into syndication. I think that's just as important as knowing when to invest in a syndication. If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments below.